Hey guys, how you doing? It's Robert King, owner of Harmony Homes, a residential assisted living facility, and founder of ALU Assisted Living University. And let's toast to the You Can Do This cup. All right, today we are in the operations section, and we're about to discuss staffing. I told you I was going to leave no stone left unturned. So we're going to talk about staffing. Now listen, I'm going to explain to you how I do my staffing. You can decide to do yours any way you choose to. You're with me? I'm going to give you my ideal, and I'm not going to give you all the different ways, W-2 versus 1099 versus this versus that versus that. No. I'm going to give you what I do, and you can do your own research and staff how you want to staff, but this what works for me. All right, here we go. Staffing. Independent contractor, 1099 is how I staff. This is how I staff. Independent contractor, 1099. Everybody who works with me, come to work with me, whether you're a caregiver, whether you're administrative assistant, you are independent contractor, 1099, and that's how I staff. You get to look and research through your own state and through your own attorney, or if you need to do that, on what's the parameters or the criteria for 1099 independent contractor versus W-2s, and then you make a decision which way works best for you. Just be legal, be right, handle your business. I actually have an independent contractor 1099 contract that's available in TheVault. That's why it's so important that you ultimately become part of the paid membership site, TheVault, and start gathering these documents, because these documents cost money to get put together. You know, attorneys charge fees to put together these contracts, and if I can use them in my state, odds are you probably can use them in your state. So anyway, I do 1099 miscellaneous contract, and that miscellaneous income, 1099 independent contractors. That's what I use at Harmony Homes and at all my other businesses. CNA versus LPN. You know, when you talk about staffing, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a CNA or are you looking for an LPN? Well, CNA is Certified Nursing Assistant. Means you got a certificate. You went to the class, you stayed so many hours, and they taught you how to be a nurse's assistant, and now you're a CNA. LPN is licensed practitioner nurse, or licensed practicing nurse. So you are actually licensed. There's a difference between getting a certificate of completion and being licensed. When you become an LPN, you are licensed, legally bound by the state that you got licensed in. You got to take a state exam. CNA means you went to a class, you studied, you learned. Doesn't mean you haven't been trained well. It just means you're not licensed. Therefore, I can pay you less money than I pay an LPN. You want to make sure when you are opening your facility that you don't bring in the type of residence that requires to have a nurse there every day. If you got to bring in residents that require to have a nurse every day, then you're getting a different type of licensing. See, my license is a standard license. I'm a licensed assisted living facility, licensed for 8, but I have a standard license, means there's a limitation on the type of level of care I could service. So, and I chose that on purpose, and here's why. Because I didn't want my house to be a death place. I didn't want to walk in, everybody half dead, everybody dying, everybody got pills and tubes and everything ran out of them. No. I wanted my place to be a lively, living place where you come and have a quality lifestyle in your golden years. So I chose to be licensed where I didn't have to have a registered nurse or LPN or ARPN or a doctor in my facility. And because of that, my overhead is less. Because LPNs and above, they charge a lot of money per hour to run your facility. CNAs, you can pay less money because they basically become your caregivers. Does that make sense to anybody? I know it does. It blesses. I know that's blessing you, all right? So CNN versus LPN, be very careful. And for all my nurses who's watching this, all my doctors, my surgeons, all the people who are used to being active in the medical field. You're used to getting up every day. You're used to going to the hospital. You're used to servicing people and their needs. I mean, you're used to doing this stuff, right? Working with them every day, doing, okay. If you want to open a facility that does have that level of care need, then you got to understand this. You're going to have to be there every day. You're going to force yourself to be forced to be in your place every day. Or you're going to have to replace yourself when you're not there with somebody with your level of education. And they're going to charge you a lot of money hourly to do that. So although you might be a registered nurse, although you might be an LPN, ARNP, some kind of professional medical field, you want to be very careful when you open up your facility that you don't limit yourself to having to be there on a daily basis to give shots and etc. Understand what I'm saying? So CNA versus LPN, I choose the CNA every time. Now check this out. I do have an ARNP that comes to my facility each Friday and services a couple of my residents. But that's at the resident's choice. You understand what I'm saying? But on a day-to-day basis, my caregivers, who are CNAs, handle all my residents' needs. Did that make sense to anybody? I know it does. All right, here we go. When you start hiring people, staff, you look for wisdom and experience. You want to look for people that have some wisdom and experience. You really want to look at people who've done this before, and have a little wisdom, common sense. I heard people say common sense is common sense is a fruit that don't grow in everybody's garden. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure that, sometimes it's difficult during the interview process to determine, what level of experience or what level of common sense or what level of wisdom this person has. But you want to really kind of pay attention to that when you start talking about bringing somebody into your facility, right? Because we're talking about staffing, right? Now, universal caregivers. What I mean by that, you want to look for universal caregivers. That's what we call them. These are caregivers who can cook, clean, wash clothes, give medication, who can do everything that's needed during their shift. That's a universal caregiver. They can handle it. They can take care of everything needed during their shift. So you want to hire universal caregivers. And watch this now. It's been my experience, just my experience, that I have better experience with more seasoned people. Let me explain what that means. Young, new CNAs aren't really stable. Now don't throw me no nasty emails or stop throwing stuff at your computer screen. But it's just my experience that the group of young CNAs who just coming out of their certificate class, really they're chasing dollars. I have had a CNA work for me and leave me to go across town, which is 45 minutes away, for $1.50 more a day, an hour. And it's just crazy because they're chasing money. And you want to make sure that you get some people who are experienced. And so therefore, for me, I have gotten people who are a little bit older. When I say seasoned, I mean a little bit older. Every one of my caregivers right now are 50 and over. They never call off work. They know how to cook. They run homes. They have children. Now they have grandchildren. They know how to clean. They have common sense. They know how to shop. They know how to stretch the money, stretch the budget, stretch the food, their experience. And you pay them more for that, but it's worth it. You understand what I'm saying? They got common sense. They know how to handle crisis and things of that nature. They're focused. They're not sitting at work all day on their computer, Facebooking and texting and all that kind of crap. Listen, my young CNAs, when I first started, that I hired, man, listen, they got boyfriends coming over to the house in the middle of the night. They texting all day. They having arguments on the telephone with their boyfriends and girlfriends, and it just became like chaotic. They want to come to work and bring the dog because the dog can't stay by itself one night. They want to bring the babies with them because the babysitter ain't standing. They got, baby mama drama or baby daddy drama showing up to the facility screaming and yelling, fighting over some ridiculous stuff. It's my experience now. You hire who you want to hire. Do you pay them a little bit less when they're younger? Yeah, but it costs you more in the long run. So I now have experienced, seasoned caregivers, all right? They must know how to cook. Absolutely, they must know how to cook, and that's required because they have to cook during their shift. They must have what I call the 3 C's. Oh my God, boy, aren't you glad you bought this course? I'm telling you right now. I know you got your pen and your paper and you're taking notes, but the 3 C's I'm going to give you right now is vital when it comes to staffing your house. You do not want to have to be there every day. Hello. If you are an investment or real estate investor and you used to showing up every month, collecting your money, showing up every day, dealing with problems, I'm showing you how to run a business where you don't have to be there every day if you build it properly. Are you with me? And these 3 C's are what you look for when you're hiring somebody for your place and for your caregiver position. They got to be creative, caring, confident. Did you get those 3? Let me say it again. Creative, caring, confident. Let me break them down. Creative. They got to create stuff. They got to do activities. They got to be creative. Somebody's birthday coming up. They got to be a little creative. They don't have to spend their own money. They don't have to do that. But they have to be creative. You know, you got somebody that's having an issue today. They have not having a good day. They don't have to run and call the administrator, be all sad. They have to learn how to be creative. They got to be creative in what they do. They got to be creative. And then they got to be caring. They got to care for the people they're servicing. It's got to be more than just a paycheck. They literally got to care for the people they're servicing, because that's very important, caring. People know, y'all know this saying, don't nobody know care. How's it go? They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. The residents don't care if you the smartest caregiver in the world. Do you care for them? Do you show that you care for them every time you interact with them? And then, they got to be confident. They got to know that they know what they're doing. Even if the state agency walk in and flash their card, the fire marshal walk in, flash their card, they got to be confident. A resident, a family member come in, start asking questions and start, pushing bossing folks around. They got to be confident in their authority. They got to know their authority, and you have to bag them up. You have to always let your caregivers know, I got your back. You're creative, you're caring, you're confident, so I got you. I got your back. I'm on your side. Even if you do something wrong, I'm going to cover, watch this now, I'm going to cover you and not allow the residents or the resident family members to jump on you verbally, physically, or any kind of way. But at the same time, we'll address what you did. We'll do an AAR. I'm a military man. After action review. We'll do an incident report. We'll figure out what you did wrong later. But I'm never going to throw you under the bus to anybody. You understand that? You work with me. You're one of my caregivers, and so your heart is right. You're creative, you're caring, you're confident. They need to know that the leadership has their back. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? Okay, great. So they got to be creative, caring, and confident. And then they must wear scrubs at all times. They must wear scrubs at all times. I wear scrubs when I come to the facility. When I come to the facility to conduct business, I have scrubs on. And my scrubs are, and then later on in the section about logos and things of that nature, I'm going to actually be wearing one of my scrubs, and I'll show it to you. But I wear scrubs. When I come in there, I'm professional. Now, sometimes I'm there for a short minute. I may have a business suit on or something like that. I'm in and out. But I'll never roll up in there in sweats and I just left the gym. No. That's my business. Before I go into my house, I got myself dressed. Now, that's the same thing I expect my caregivers to do. I expect my caregivers to be professional at all times. They must wear scrubs, watch this now, and their hair and nails must be professional. Now, here we go. I know we're in 2018 at this taping, and you got a lot of folks that got a whole lot of identity things going on. They got these millenniums that want to be independently identified and accept me for who I am, all that kind of stuff. I want to wear my hairstyle in my old natural roots and all that kind of stuff. Beautiful, great. You ain't doing it here. You see what I'm saying? This is a professional environment, and because it's my company and you are an independent contractor, I get to tell you, or I get to choose what professionalism looks like for me. You don't like it? You can go up the road, work with somebody else. But this is what professionalism looks like to me. You wear scrubs, new. Every time you come to work, you have on clean scrubs. You're saying you don't wear the same scrubs twice in the same shift. I'm going to explain that in a minute. You have a nice set of scrubs on. You always got shoes on, not flip-flops, none of that kind of stuff. You got shoes on. You at work. You come to work, and when you wake up in the morning or you show up in the morning, your hair ain't all over the place. It's already done. You're ready to go. You always present yourself professionally attired all the time in your scrubs. Scrubs must look good. They must be sharp. And listen, let me tell you something. My mom was in the hospital last year, and And you know how you go into the room and they have the nurse, the new nurse on staff name there. So I saw this lady named Erica, hadn't met her yet. So I had a question. I go out there and I asked for Erica, and they said, no problem. They send this lady here, and I promise you, when she was walking toward me, I figured she was going to tell me Erica wasn't available. Her scrubs was nasty. And it ain't like she just had an incident working. Her scrubs was dull. They were old. They were supposed to be green. They had turned almost gray. Her hair was all over the place. She had all this stuff, different stuff in her hair. It was she looks terrible. Even her, she had no makeup on. She didn't look presentable at all. I promise you, I didn't even know she was the nurse in charge. That's a pretty strong position, right? Now, she may have been very, very good medically, but her appearance was terrible. And I told her, straight out of respect, professional to professional, I told her, hey, honey, it's time to go get some new scrubs. You don't look like the title that you wear. You don't look like the person in that badge. So it's time to regroup. I know you've probably been doing this for a while, but it's time to regroup, because that professionalism is important. How you look is very, 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 very important. That one was on staffing, hiring, bringing people on board to help run your facility. All right, God bless you. See you in the next video.